individuals came in sometime between Monday night and Tuesday morning and spent a decent amount of time, a lot of time, cutting into the rooftop, cutting through the cement board that was on top of it, the roofing layment, and then cutting through the metal, which was on the ceiling side. And then somehow, we don't know how, they made their way down to the floor level of Champs Sporting Goods, where they sell shoes, and stole what we believe to be between 400 and 500 pair of shoes. We're not exactly sure because we're waiting on a definitive inventory. But the shoes consisted of Nike and New Balance, some high-end shoes, some expensive shoes. The thieves made off with, we believe, between 300 and 400, but we found about 100 pair of shoes still on the roof. So we don't know why they were still on the roof, if they were spooked off, if they ran out of room in whatever vehicle they were driving. We don't know why the shoes were still there, but we do know there was a significant loss to the Champs store. A lot of questions we have, and I'll try to answer the ones that I've asked. How did they get onto the roof from the outside? We don't know that. They could have brought their own ladder. We don't see any places where they obviously shimmied up there. How many people were involved? I don't know that, but we do know it was more than one. I think I already said we don't know how they made their way from the roof down into the actual business and then back out. There are high shelvings in there where they could potentially shimmy down from within and then get back up, but I wouldn't assume that they would come prepared to get that lucky. And then, how did the alarms not go off? Why were there not alarms triggered in that where we could have responded and thwarted the burglary? And the answer to that, I've been told, is the only alarm part of that business was from the inside of the mall and the back door. The inside of the mall being the roll-up wire gate that you would see when they closed the business, and then the back door where you would enter in there. So there was no inside alarms that were tripped while these individuals were in the store. There was a motion sensor camera that was tripped, and we do have the individuals, a couple individuals moving around the store, but that camera didn't alert an alarm company for either the security guards to respond out there or us as a sheriff's office to respond out there. So we're piecing through a lot. We've talked over and over and over about traveling criminals. These are not just the kids from down the road doing a fly-by-night burglary. These are organized crime criminals that are probably traveling criminals that made their way to Martin County, got off with a sizable amount of product, and we anticipate catching them. I anticipate being back here shortly telling you that we arrested somebody. We have the best detectives on the case, and we're utilizing all of our resources to try to track down exactly how many people were involved. And even though they were completely covered up and did their best to try to hide, we're going to try to unearth who they are and make an arrest in this case. So I'll try to answer questions again. I know there's some things I'm not going to tell you. I'll just tell you what they are.
Is it safe to say they sold thousands of dollars worth of merchandise?
Yeah, so just an average cost of the shoes, because Nike and New Balance is actually a pretty expensive shoe now too. We're just going off of, just say it's $100 per pair of shoes, which is really low nowadays. You're talking about $40,000 to $50,000 worth of shoes. That's on the way low end. These thieves knew what they were doing. They knew what they were targeting. They went after the high dollar shoes, Nikes, New Balance, and those Air Jordan Nikes.
When you saw the photo, what was your reaction?
Well, I watched national news too, and I saw what happened, across the pond where they came down and stole the crown jewels, and I was like, this is a one-off of that. Of course, I'm being a little bit facetious, but these are professionals. These are not, again, they were brave enough to get there. Somehow they got themselves on top of the roof. Somehow they were able to cut through that roof without being detected. We have to assume that they were there for an extended period of time with the proper equipment to do it. And I think we gave you a picture. If you really dial into that picture, that's a really clean cut. Like, they didn't do that with a handsaw. They did that with probably something that was like an electric saw or a grinder. So my thought was, these are pros. But I also know the quality of our detectives. We're pros too, and we're going to fight fire with fire.
The sneakers, was there a limited edition sneaker that was in the store? I know that's sometimes very popular for these type of shoe robberies.
I don't know the answer to that, and I have not asked that.
Is there any, and also, and I just know because I'm a sneakerhead, the common themes is often there's someone on the inside who's telling them what to do or how to do. Is it with any indications that can you say that at this point or not?
No, and in fact, we don't believe that's the case. Anybody in normal business hours can walk into the front side of the store, the back side of the store where they actually broke into. They didn't come into the front side and take shoes from where we are allowed to come and go from. They went to the back storage room. So how they knew exactly where to go, we're not sure, but we're not going down that route yet. We don't have any indication that it was an inside job.
These organized retail thefts, are they becoming more common, in your opinion?
Yes, we've seen that. Traveling criminals. We've termed ourselves here in Martin County the wrong exit, and we did that 5 years ago because these traveling criminals were coming and they were doing everything from fraud to walking into Walgreens and CVS stores and stealing makeup, perfume, whatever wasn't nailed down in those stores. But this is a little bit of a higher level. You know, these are not just people walking in, grabbing something and going and knowing they're probably going to get caught down the road. These individuals have likely done this before, and they're pretty calculated.
Do you have any information on the getaway car? Anything that you would want people to look out for or know about?
Not that I'm willing to pass on at this point. That's one of the things we're investigating.
Sure, you said
Yes.
from Monday to Tuesday, so it was like when the mall closed?
Yes.
You stayed all the way in until, I guess, before the mall opened Tuesday?
We don't know. So because the mall doesn't have a very robust camera system there, we don't know exactly how long they were in the mall parking lot. So it's been a little bit extra work for us to try to piece together the time frame of when they arrived versus when they left. We have gotten some information. There are some cameras there, but again, it wasn't like it was alarmed. It wasn't like their security guard came across them, and there was security on at that point. There was a security guard responsible for patrolling that area. But really, once they get up on the rooftop, if they can somehow hide their sound, and I don't know how they would do that, I would assume with counter surveillance, keeping an eye on the security guard while they worked, they've got all the time in the world.
It's the first time you've seen anything like this in your 20-plus history in Martin?
To that magnitude, we've seen some attempted jewelry theft through the rooftops here in Martin County, but it's been quite some period of time. But for an individual or group of individuals to come in and steal, we're talking, shoe boxes, 400 to 500 shoe boxes. That's a feat in and of itself. It's not small items like jewelry that are worth a huge amount of money. Like these, they have to transport 500 boxes of shoes. Well, you can't do that very easily. And then to get them up on the roof and then to put them down and then to load them up, that was a process.
What's the most frustrating part about dealing with these groups that you're basically calling professionals?
They play on our jurisdictional boundaries, or at least they try to. And traveling criminals throughout the years have worked in anonymity because they believe they can go, if they live further south or further north, they can go to Martin County, and if we even had pictures of their faces, which we don't, we could put it out there and identify them because our locals will know them. So they played on our lack of knowing who they are, and then they assume that we're not going to coordinate with other law enforcement agencies. But we have now, across the entire state, all 67 counties, we're tired of the traveling criminals. So us sheriffs have gotten together. We've got memorandums of understanding, and we will reach out and touch you wherever you are in this state, and vice versa. If they have a crime in another county and they come here, my guys will help those other sheriffs solve these cases. So the most frustrating thing is them thinking they can get away with it. And even more frustrating than that is victimizing our Martin County residents and businesses.
This comes after the state passed the new law last year that basically increased the penalties
Right.
for these organized retail theft crimes. In this case, that obviously didn't dissuade these people from acting. Why do you think that is?
Well, this is a little bit different. So the organized retail theft cases where they were coming in the front door and they were getting charged for the most part for misdemeanors, and then they would accumulate a lot of misdemeanor arrests that weren't really going anywhere. This is a burglary. So it starts off at a felony burglary, and then it makes its way into a felony theft, grand theft, based on the amount of the value, the dollar amount that they stole. So I think criminals, they look at national events and they think that they can try it here, and then we do our best to catch them, incarcerate them, and let them know that they came to the wrong place, wrong state.
It sounds like you believe more that this is a copycat type of crime.
I don't actually.
Okay.
I don't know what I said that made you think that, but no, I have not seen any of these other rooftop burglaries in the state, and I read the different bolos that come out. For me here recently, it's the first one I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, okay.
Do
So,
you have
yes.
an update on the whole? Like, is there somebody watching it to make sure, like, somebody doesn't come back? Like, is anybody, like, has
it been patched up? Anybody guarding it at all?
We're not guarding it. It was turned over to Simon, which is in charge of running the mall. And of course, they have contractors that will come in and start fixing it right away. And so it's in their hands now.
Do you know
So-
where they targeted the champs? Because there's, the Foot Locker,
Yeah,
JD
I know.
Sports.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Do you know whether Champs had a shipment in that day, or?
I do not. No, and I didn't ask that question, so I'm not sure. Any questions?
Anything else I should be asking you that I haven't because I'm not smart?
Yes, but I probably wouldn't tell you anyway right now. So,
It's all good.
so no, I appreciate you all allowing me to tell you what I know. Again, we have the best detectives on the case, and I'm quite confident in their abilities, and we will do our best to make our businesses whole here in Martin County.
Are you
So-
confident you're gonna catch him?
I'm always confident, but yeah, I'm pretty confident. So,
Thanks so much.
thank you.
Thank you.